Today we are entering the home of Paul. Paul is an amazing collector of all things physical media, from incredible arcade cabinets all the way through his love of movies being represented by incredible movie prints and posters, and some really unique posters like ones that change as you walk past them. I mean, come on, how cool is this? And then his huge Blu-ray and DVD collection, and of course, what we're going to be talking about most, his vinyl record collection. All right, guys, I am here with my friend Paul.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you for having me into your home.
Welcome.
There are a ton of records here and a ton of other incredible pop culture things, which I think you just saw in the intro. Paul is a local here in Portland, and we connected when I moved out here. He's been a longtime member of the TMR community. I wanted to come check out his collection, so I was like, why don't we do a video and talk about why you got into vinyl, some of your favorite records, some of my favorite records in your collection. But I'd love to start off and just ask you, how did this start?
About seven, 8 years ago, I was moving back from Seattle. I have always been into music. Vinyl was kind of something that was in the peripheral that I was hearing about and seemed to be getting very popular. Decided just to really dive in. Really got into it mostly, initially, probably out of nostalgia.
Sure.
I had a older kid in my neighborhood when I was growing up that had a record player, and he would have kids over and we'd listen to records, and that's kind of like my first memory. So I was always into music. I was one of those kids who signed up for the BMG and Columbia Records.
Nice.
Without telling the parents, and suddenly had music showing up. Maybe like a lot of collectors in the days of YouTube, I wanted to do some research on how to start collecting, what to collect, what type of record player to buy. And that led me to Too Many Records. I was like looking for some sources of some advice, and was able to find you and some others in the industry, Noble Records, and
shout out to Dylan.
Yeah, I think you might have been still in the Damn It Sandy days.
Wow, so you've been there since 2015.
Yeah.
So is that when you got into records back in 2015?
Yeah. So right about that time.
Okay, cool. Because I mean, that's not long after me. I got into vinyl in 2013, so it's pretty close.
Yeah,
and then what drew you as an adult to the medium outside of nostalgia? Like, what made you go from like, I'm gonna buy a few records to like...
As you will probably have seen in some of the kind of tour of my place, I'm into big into physical media.
Yeah.
Big into collecting in general. So that kind of fed my kind of collecting itch and some of my collecting. You'd probably call it more of an addiction.
No, we're all normal. we're all totally normal.
Yeah, there's absolutely a portion of it is just the ritual of it as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's not obviously a convenient medium. Part of that is inconvenient, part of it is kind of ritualistic and something that I enjoy. And I agree, there is certainly a different sound coming from vinyl.
Different. I think different, again, is the operative word, because it's like, it's not better than digital, it's different. And I think that's one of the points I try to hit home on this channel, is that like it's a preference thing, and you and I clearly prefer the sound of like mastered for vinyl or analog music. Do you have any favorite genres to collect on vinyl? I know you're a big soundtrack guy, which we'll get to, but outside of that.
I mean, I originally got into vinyl collecting classic rock.
Okay.
Queen and Pink Floyd and Johnny Cash are probably they're in my top 5, but I have branched out so much, and a lot of it has to do with what I've actually come from watching your YouTube. Matt got me into Brazilian music.
Oh, well, that's a slippery and expensive rabbit hole, my friend.
Yeah, Dylan at Noble Records got me into Zamrock.
Oh yeah,
So
him and I are just the wall. It's just spitting money.
Yeah, I've been collecting lo-fi hip hop.
Yeah.
And I listened from everything from classical music. I was on a classical music kick for a while there. Interestingly enough, after watching Squid Game is how I got
makes sense.
In classical vinyl, especially, the pressing really matters.
Totally. 100%.
Because there's so much quiet in it. You really need a quality pressing to be able to enjoy the music as it should sound.
I feel that way about ambient music.
Yeah.
And that's why like I collected a lot of it on vinyl. I don't listen to it that often because it's like if it isn't a great pressing, it drives me absolutely nuts. I see also, when I was perusing your collection, do you have every record on my label?
I think I might be missing 2.
Also, you're a big soundtrack guy. I know that obviously, as we saw in your amazing hallway, you have this incredible selection of movie prints. What draws you to soundtracks specifically, outside of just loving movies?
Yeah, I mean, soundtracks and movie scores in particular, I think can actually make or break a movie experience. Just think of some of the most memorable movie scenes and then take out the music and it just won't be the same. I think particularly my love of movie scores is that it will literally transport you back into the moment of a film scene. And I think that's powerful. And I think there are just some incredible scores out there just from a musical standpoint.
Well, I picked a couple things from your collection I just wanted to talk to you about real quick. The first one is this Analog Productions copy of Beach Boys' Pet Sounds. And this is the 45 RPM one, right?
Yes.
So I own the 33, and it is the best sounding record I've ever heard.
This may be even better. This is incredible.
I can't imagine it sounding better. I put this record on, first of all, shout out to Analog Productions for just being the best label, but I put this on people when they're like, I don't understand vinyl, and I'm like, stand here, listen to this.
Yeah, this is one of the most incredible pressings that I own, probably.
I've always enjoyed Pet Sounds. Obviously, there's some really standout tracks that are classics, but this is another testament to when you hear a really good sounding pressing, how it can deepen your love for a full record, because I now would say I love this record so much because of how special the listening experience is. More so than just listening to it before on a standard press or even just digital. So
yeah, I absolutely love all the Analog Production pressings. I don't think I've had a single miss yet.
No. Next, I almost feel terrible to touch this because of how rare this is. This is Cookin' Soul's Doom Christmas on picture disc. I owned this when it came out, and I stupidly sold it. And I sold it for $200, which sounds like a lot. But now, have you seen what this goes for?
Yes. Well,
it goes for 500 plus at least.
With his unfortunate passing, it skyrocketed. And I will fully admit that I am a casual MF Doom fan.
Sure.
He's not my go-to, so I've listened to that probably one time.
Yeah. Well, it is a little situational. You're not always going to hear.
It's also a Christmas album.
Right. It's a Christmas album with Doom flips every now and again. It's not quite a daily listen, but this is a true holy grail in the modern record scene. And have you heard any of Cookin' Soul's other stuff?
I have not really.
It's terrific. Yeah. If you beat making stuff, you should definitely. He has infinite tapes, but yeah, this one, it feels nice to hold it again. Although it reminds me of what I lost. Don't look for this in your collection after I leave today. The KLF Chill Out. Is this truly a first press?
As far as I can tell,
Wow. Where did you find this? So if you guys don't know this, the KLF Chill Out is an amazing ambient kind of experimental record that is so awesome, and I have a pressing of this that is questionably a bootleg. Where did you find this?
I found it while I was digging in Seattle.
Okay.
I don't remember which store.
Yeah.
But yeah, KLF is a group that I got into when I was in college. I was actually doing some DJing for my fraternity. And
nice.
So I was always looking for some good beats and things like that. And,
sure.
That kind of led me to KLF
Yeah.
originally. It was just one that caught my eye, and obviously it's kind of skyrocketed in value as well.
Yes, it has, and yeah, this is definitely an impressive piece to own. Yeah, they're fantastic, and I just saw this and I was like, all right, Paul, I see you. I see you. Then we have this bad boy. You mentioned Pink Floyd being one of your all-time favorites.
Yeah.
I also own this exact pressing with the green Obi strip. I love when Obi strips have pictures on them, and this one has a picture of the band, which is super cool, and I just think the coloring is really nice.
Animals is not my favorite
All right,
Thanks,
we're
Floyd.
done.
Wish You Were Here is actually my favorite.
I mean, again, a nearly perfect record, so
Yeah.
I get that.
But Animals is close.
Yeah.
And this one is special because I actually, back in September, was in Australia, and I was digging there and found this along with some other records that are a little rarer to find here in the United States. So grabbed this and spent a lot of money shipping a bunch of records back from Australia.
Oh God, I can't imagine what that costs just to ship them. Oh wow, this is one of those. It's one of those sleeves that holds the gatefold. I've actually never used these. These are cool.
Yeah, so those are great. And this one is a Matt Kessler
I recommended this fervently. Amazing French beat maker. This is one of the most unique tapes. Did you pick this up from the recent restock, or is this the first press?
First press.
Yeah. This is an absolutely incredible record. I can't tell you how much it hurts. It is just like, would you say it's one of the most unique lo-fi records you've ever heard?
Sure.
Yeah. If you don't know this and you like lo-fi, try to track this one down, although it's getting harder and harder. Those are my picks. What have you pulled to show?
So this kind of goes back to my original journey on getting into vinyl and music. So as I mentioned, I had the older kid in my neighborhood who we would go and listen to records, and this one was one of the first records that sticks in my memory.
It's a big one.
I just remember looking at this robot. This is one of those kind of situations where the art of the cover really just drew me in. So this is actually the very, very first record that I bought when I started getting into vinyl.
So you're a big Marvel fan. Do you know about the alternate cover of this?
I do not.
There is an alternate cover of this album. You know how Marvel did some collaborations with some hip hop records?
Oh yeah.
They also did one for this record where I think it might be Galactus holding a bunch of
Avengers,
or X-Men, and that goes for like over $1,000.
Wow.
It's like it was an extremely short run. Now I'm sorry to add that to your want list because it is really. I've never seen one.
It's putting me more and more in debt.
That's what I do. That's what I'm here for.
As I mentioned, I have a huge love for music scores.
Yeah.
Actually, probably more movie scores than I do for movie soundtracks. Although soundtracks can be equally as nostalgia and really bring you into the moment of a movie. I think Ennio Morricone obviously is just hugely massive in terms of his just lifetime achievement in music, but in movie scores particularly.
Is this your favorite of his?
But I think this is my favorite.
Wow, I don't know it.
If you haven't seen this movie,
No.
this is an incredible movie to begin with. But this score is beautiful. It's haunting. It really brings you into the moment. I think it's one of his most underappreciated works from a movie score. Obviously, he's known for all the spaghetti westerns. He did obviously the Tarantino movie Glory. James Horner is another incredible movie score that if you've seen the movie and watched the movie, it just is an incredible pairing.
It's a promo too.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
This is one of the most incredible, just gets you all hyped up. You're just like, and you just remember the battle scenes of that movie, which is another great campy action movie.
Do you have the Red Sonja score too?
I don't have the Red Sonja score.
Yeah, that one's a little harder to find.
Obviously, the Wrath of Khan is probably the best Star Trek movie out there. And this is another soundtrack or movie score that will just bring you right into the moment of all the different scenes. So I've actually been listening to this quite a bit recently, just out of, I don't know how I got into Star Trek kick recently.
Phases.
Yeah. And this one actually was one of my, Clint Mansell.
Mansell,
an incredible.
Man, what a legend.
But this, and I don't know if you've seen this movie yet either, this is an incredible, quirky science fiction movie. This has been actually fairly hard to find. This was probably in my 2020 Grail list. Finally was able to get a copy. Another incredible, I would maybe even make it similar comparison to like the Interstellar soundtrack.
These were great picks. It's a little slice of your massive collection. I mean, there's really a lot to look at. I mean, you have so many box sets up there too. I mean, just From here, I'm spotting, the Almost Famous box set. You have the Lord of the Rings box sets, Mandalorian, of course, the Zamrock, as we discussed. What's that one on the way on the right, the checkered one?
The checkered one is actually a box.
Just a box.
Yeah.
It's just a box.
It's
just a box. Well, this was a brief tour of Paul's incredible home and record collection. I think we'll probably be back at some point, but dude,
absolutely.
Thank you so much for
letting
me in. And now let's go play some arcade games.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy.